What's up, guys? It's Tuesday, January 10th, and I'm back with another Thoughts Out Loud session. This is session, what is it? Probably should know the numbers. Is this 16? I think it's 16. Um, Things got a little out of hand this morning, first off. I woke up just late. I didn't hear my alarm at all, and there was a part of me that got up and opened my eyes and saw the sun, or saw not the sun because the sun's still not up now. It's 7:10 or 7:15, and some part of me knew I should be getting up. Like I think after a while, you know that you kind of know your body knows what time it is in some way, shape, or form, subconsciously maybe even, and I could not get up. Maybe it's just lack of discipline. Seriously, I got to the point where I was like, I think it's time to get up, but my alarm hasn't gone off, so I'm gonna go back to sleep, and that's what I did. I dozed off until an alarm finally went off, and it was my wife's alarm, and that goes off an hour and 15 minutes later than my alarm. So I knew I was missing it. I should have known. I should have just gotten up and checked it. I reached for the phone. I was so tired yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of work, or my first day back to work after not just a week off, but a, a week off, then a week at work that was super, super laxed because it was the week between Christmas and New Year's, and then the week after New Year's off. So I've been yesterday was the first day back at work for a lot of people. Like the first day of work was really work since for the last 3 weeks. So it probably took a little bit more out of me than I thought it was going to take. But in the end, I really want to continue to do this. So I hurry up and rushed and got dressed. I tried to squeeze this in at my house. I have a 6-year-old who leaves for school or leaves for the school bus at 7 o'clock, and he wakes up at 6, eats, gets dressed, gets dressed, eats, and watches little cartoons, and then heads out the door. And like in between like 6:45 and 7, there's like a little calm before the storm, right? Like it's nice and quiet, and I try to do it in that little window. I try to do thoughts out loud in that little window, and it wasn't gonna work out. Like I wasn't fast enough. I couldn't get everything up and running, and when they leave the house, it is an uproar. It's yelling and screaming, grab this and grab that. They'll walk out the door once, hit the elevator button, come back in. It's insane. So it definitely was a bad time to do thoughts out loud or to record anything in this house at that point in time. In any case, I really do want to get thoughts out loud done. I really want to continue to do it. I want it to be part of my daily routine, and I want to squeeze it in there no matter what, because it's what I'm using somewhat as my journal to keep track of what I have going on and the successes and the losses I have. And I got a lot of things in my mind this morning. There's a lot of things to talk about in thoughts out loud, and like even less time than normal. But what I did want to talk about today was previous in a previous Thoughts Out Loud episode, I talked about how my wife isn't really on board with the entrepreneurship thing, like the faith in me to put the whole livelihood on my shoulders. Like that works when there's some structure, when there's an organization that's paying me and things like that for her. But I don't think she has a real, excuse me, sorry about this chair. I don't think she has a real grasp or a real warm and fuzzy feeling about like getting out there on her own and like only working for the market and sinking and swimming as just on our own, like without any support from an organization or company or anything like that. And that, like, I get it. I get that. I understand that entrepreneurship is scary. But it's for us. It's a ways off. Like it's not something I'm just gonna quit my job and then go make my own or try to make my own thing right now. Although part of me really, really want. If it wasn't for the little one, if it wasn't for the 6-year-old, I think I'd do that. But but in the bottom line is obviously I came to this conclusion last time in Thoughts Out Loud. I can't remember what session it was, but it's there. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, it's on me, right? Like it's my fault. Like I've done something or I haven't done enough to show her that I can make this work. Or her mind just isn't in the right place. And so in my mind, I have to find a way to show her that I can make this work, or this is a possibility, and I can do it, and I am capable of doing it. In order to do that, though, like, she has to know what a capable entrepreneur looks like. I mean, right now it's just in her head. It's just an idea in her mind of what it is. She doesn't have any real solid. She sees no real examples, no real everyday people. She's thinking of Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, maybe not even Elon Musk, but she's thinking of these big Bill Gates. She's thinking of these big names that, like, my husband's not Bill Gates. And obviously she's right in that aspect. But I want to show her what real scrappy build-up entrepreneurs look like. So I needed a target. And a while ago, I was listening to the Smart Passive Income podcast, and he had a guest on there named Dana Malstaff. And she is the author of a book, The Lights Boss Mom. And so I identify with Pat. There's other people I listen to, Gary Vaynerchuk and John Lee Dumas and Tony Robbins and all these other guys. Just all these other people that I listen to, Ramit Sethi. I listen to all these other guys, and I get my feel. I got my feel from them a long time ago. Like, from the moment I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I've been on this search, and I eventually found people that I really identify with, that I think, like, wow, I can do that. Like, they give me the impression that I can do that. What they do is obtainable. And even if I don't obtain just exactly what they have, if I get close, if I could just maintain what I have at my job now, then I can, that's Unique coming back from dropping off Will. But if I could just maintain, like, what I make right now, like, if I can just get to, like, the $70,000 mark doing entrepreneurship, then I'm doing what I want to do. So it's a win, right? Like, who cares if it's the same exact money or if it's the same thing? It's just at my own cost or at my own pace. So I think, so anyway, I bought her this book. She just walked in the room. I bought her this book to kind of get her on par, or get her on board with, like, understanding what entrepreneurship is. And Dana does, like, a really good job on her podcast and in her Periscope. I think maybe she can do a better job kind of painting that picture of what an entrepreneur is, or what I'm trying to do. Like, it doesn't have to be Steve Jobs. It can be somebody else, like, somewhere else. There's something in between that where you can still be happy, build your dream, and be, financially secure, or even just be okay financially. So, Boss Mom by Dana Malstaff. I think that's the name of her. That's the name of her business. That's the name of her organization. That's the name of her self-published book, if I remember correctly. So, I did have a quick exchange with Dana on her Periscope, because I asked her, like, I'm really trying to get my wife on board with this. My wife, my wife's a housewife. She has the house and she takes care of that. She has help. My mother-in-law lives with us. She has assistants, and what it really comes down to is she has time that I would kill for, right? Like this week off was kind of a glimpse at what she's able to do, or how much time she has when she's at home, and she wants to do something, but she's having a hard time figuring out what. And so I asked Dana on her Periscope, like, what would you recommend? And she was like, just get a few daiquiris one Friday night, just completely relax and kick back and make it a relaxed setting. Get some daiquiris or some strawberries or something that she likes to, consume, or something that she likes to drink, or something that whatever she likes to do. Just get back, put her in that relaxed setting, and brainstorm about what she likes, or what she would like to do, or what she likes to do, what her hobbies are, and then go from there. Like, don't try to figure out what's lucrative. Don't start with the money, so to speak. Just kind of figure out what she likes. And that really spoke to me, and that's what made me end up buying this book and giving it to the wife, because hopefully she'll read that and it'll speak to her. She'll start listening to Dana, and it can be her version of, it can be to her what Rich Dad Poor Dad was to me. So yeah, that's the steps, or that's the action that I took to kind of remedy what I was talking about in that previous Thoughts Out Loud episode, and it never really went away. In the back of my head, it kind of stays there. Like, yo, man, like I gotta figure out a way to get her on board and make her realize what I'm trying to do. Um, so real quick here, I think I'm running a little short on time. As far as yesterday goes, how did yesterday go? Yesterday went okay. It went well, actually. So what happened yesterday that I wanted to do was I posted the podcast for Thursday. Like it's scheduled, it's slotted, recorded, written, it's ready to go. It's gonna post on Thursday at 10 a.m. by itself. This is the first time that's happened since last March when I started the podcast. In fact, this is the first time any of my content has been set 3 days in advance. It's sad, but yeah, it's the first time I've gotten it to that point, and it's a major victory for me because I've been trying to do that the whole time, and it just hasn't worked out. I just haven't had the discipline or the drive to get it done quicker or get it done in advance. I've always come back and said, okay, well, I have until I've always procrastinated. I'm a procrastinator, and so it's always been this delay or this kind of, okay, we still have this much time, pushing it to the right on the schedule. But boom, it's Tuesday here. The podcast doesn't post or isn't recorded or won't post until Thursday. That's my podcast date for all my podcasts to post, and I still have Wednesday to record, and so I can record the last week's or the last episode of the month and the first episode of February. And that's where I hope to start getting ahead and getting things done and getting to the point where I'm ahead of the ball curve, like a bell curve. I'm ahead of the ball, so to speak. So I can just work on other things that I want to do for my organization or for my company, for my not even company because I don't have an LLC, but for Soul Weaver, for my blog, for my website. The loss or the bad part of yesterday is technically there was supposed to be a blog post that went live yesterday and it did not. And so the number one goal, in fact, after I record next week's episode tomorrow, I'm going to do all I can to, the number one focus will be to finish up a blog post and get that done this week. So at least it happens this week. I got a couple of other, and then next week's off for the blog post, and then another week after that. So the creative writing day went decently well, but I didn't make it to the blog yesterday is what it really comes down to. In reality, the creative writing day wasn't supposed to be for the blog that post that day. So I was really behind on the ball curve or the bell curve when it comes to the pot. I was ahead of the curve when it comes to the podcast, behind the curve when it comes to the blog post, and that's kind of fine with me, man. The focus this year is shifting to the podcast, and the blog is gonna be a secondary thing. It's gonna be my secondary piece of content. Flagships the podcast, and then probably toward the middle of the year we'll push YouTube. We'll push Switch, the Soul Weaver YouTube channel, further up close into to the priority. I think I'm gonna focus mainly on podcasting, and then secondarily on YouTube, and then probably thirdly on blogging. But we'll see. So I rambled a lot this morning, considering that I don't have a lot of time. I will say one thing about this book, Boss Mom. I introduced it to a coworker, I showed it to a coworker because we pick up mail together, and she's a mother and she works really hard. Wishes she had more time with her kids. And I think this book is really perfect for her. She's super open-minded, super when it comes to the children being gay, or the children or when it comes to leadership styles, because she has a team that she's in charge of. She's super democratic about it, super open-minded. But there was something she almost didn't even entertain the idea of doing her own business from home, and not even almost. I mean, quite dismissive, quite what is that? I guess dismissive is just the right word for it. Didn't give it much time at all. She's super fast reader. Could have just read the back of the book in 30 to 45 seconds, and she didn't even give it that. So that kind of that's gonna come back later because we took a personality test and not a personality test, some kind of a personality. What's the word I'm looking for? Evaluation, and I want to share that with you guys Friday because it's got like some pictures and things like that. I'm gonna have to throw some editing in there. And in most cases, Thoughts Out Loud doesn't have much editing, but we might make Friday episodes a little bit more user friendly. You might scoot over to the side and throw things up over here to let you guys look at it. So anyway, that's all I got. Let me go ahead and get out of here because I got to go to work and I don't want to be late. I'm already sacrificing my coffee time to do Thoughts Out Loud because I got extra sleep this morning. So we'll be back tomorrow with another Thoughts Out Loud session. We'll see you guys then and let you know what we got going on or how things went after today. Have a good one.